not.
Nice.
Fuck!
Nice.
I was trying to play the Star Wars intro, but that didn't
be
fucking work.
careful. Disney might come after us.
So, you know what? This is going to get cut anyway, so
Copyright.
fuck it. This is going to get cut anyway, so just fuck it. Anyways, welcome back to a new podcast episode of fucking Kaotikast. This has been 2 weeks since we last recorded this, so we're true to our word. It's been 2 weeks.
Yep. We came up with a few different ideas, actually. One of them was basically just a Star Wars podcast. And I think this is kind of properly timed as well, because usually December is typically when there would be a new Star Wars movie out, but of course that's not happening. And it's probably for the best too, because I feel like I'm glad the sequel trilogy is no longer a thing.
Well, not only that is we have Mandalorian now, so yeah. And funny enough, this is called the Kaotikast Star Wars Special.
Yep. And that's the other thing too, is like they seem to be focusing more on Mandalorian and some of the other Star Wars shows going forward, as opposed to just like Star Wars movies.
Good. Honestly, that's like the best thing that they could do right now.
And really, it's like a good business decision, considering what's happening right now in theaters being pretty much either closed or at limited capacity. So it would be kind of stupid to make new Star Wars movies. So it's like you might as well just put some Star Wars shows out on Disney Plus instead.
Yeah, or just put anything that you want to release on Disney Plus as well. Yeah. Like fucking Mulan. But wait, there's a DVD of that too.
For the live action?
Yes. And they have a collection that has both the original and that abomination. You want the better original musical version, or do you want the dark and gritty version?
That's like them having the... Well, speaking of which, and it is relevant to Star Wars, they have like the entire collection for Star Wars in 4K, but it also includes the shitty the shitty sequel trilogy films. So you get that with it too, and it's like over $200, I think.
Oh god damn it! I was hoping that it would be cheaper.
They do have all the Star Wars movies in 4K though. I do need to get my hands on those, because I just have the Blu-ray collection.
You said it was.
It's called the Skywalker Saga collection, I think. It could be. I hate that. I hate that title.
No. I typed in the Skywalker Saga, and apparently I get fucking Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga, the deluxe version, which has what exactly?
It should have like all the movies in 4K.
Wait, what the fuck? Okay, I'm going to tell you what this comes with. The deluxe version. It comes with the base game, and the DLC.
No. It's movies. I'm talking about the movies, not the games.
No, but I'm mentioning this too, because it comes with a little Lego like Luke Skywalker, but he has the blue milk.
He has what?
The blue milk.
Really? The alien titty milk? Wait. Is it the old man Luke, or is it like?
That's why I'm getting the judge of that. So take one good look at that little Lego figure, and you'll see what I mean. It looks like the young one. That could be just me, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's probably going to come out sometime next year.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like the sequel trilogy version of him. So I was like, because you said blue milk, I was like, oh, you mean the blue alien, the green alien milk or whatever that he drinks?
Wait, what the? Okay, I think I see what you're talking about. It has like the book type thing.
I think so.
And it has the Death Star. Yeah, I see that.
How much is that? Did it go up in price, or is it like?
I don't really fucking know, because scalpers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, so yeah, if you wanted to get that, you might be out of luck. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely out of luck on that one.
I would just get them individually, honestly. Like, there's no reason to get that fucking collection. Especially if you're not a fan of the sequel.
Yeah. You know what? I was going to be like, let's do the pre-topics, but I think just fuck it.
No,
the only thing that... Yeah, like, I had, like, a few of them in mind. Like, I apparently, the one that I don't really give a shit about, which it's kind of like a no surprise, which was how Sean Connery died.
Yeah.
Like, they said that he had heart failure, pneumonia, and apparently this article was like, he died of either pneumonia, heart failure, and old age.
Wow.
Like, I'm not surprised.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. He was 90 years old.
I mean, that's not surprising, but yeah, I think the other one that's, I guess, kind of worth sort of talking about is Elliot Page.
Yeah, like, I saw that. It's like, Ellen Page reveals to be a transgender, changes name to Elliot Page.
I'll tell you why this happened.
Because of this.
Because she has no career. Her career is completely in the shitter. So she needs some attention.
I don't think her career is bad.
She's probably not as relevant as she used to be, though. I think she's the only thing people know her for right now, I think, is Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, because she's still part of Umbrella Academy, and Netflix actually said that they're going to change her name in the credits, but her role is still going to be the same, or his role is going to be the same.
Yeah, I really just feel like this is an attention-seeking thing.
Yeah, but it's like, it kind of becomes one major problem. Is that it's like, we're not we're disclaimer, whichever you want to call it. We're not transphobic. We're really not.
No.
You could be any sexuality you want. Just don't be a pedophile or zoophile. You're fine.
I mean, it's like, we already knew she was a lesbian, and now...
Yeah, she came out in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it...
Yeah,
it's a shame.
It's like, I mean, I guess, like, maybe it is something she genuinely wanted to do, but I just don't know if I'm really convinced, to be honest. Like I said, I just feel like this is it's just something she wants to get more attention. You know, she just wants more attention on herself, so she did this.
Yeah, I mean, good on her or good on him if they, because he also wants to identify as they as well. They.
Yeah,
because if they want to change his name or their name, go for it. If they want to be whatever they want, go for it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, like, I'm kind of 50-50 on the whole pronoun shit. Like, I'm not calling somebody they. Like, that's where I kind of draw a line. It's like, hey, if you want to, be somebody, some other gender or whatever, and you want me to call you as, that gender, sure, but I'm not going to call you they. That's fucking insane.
It's weird. It's very fucking weird. It's like the only thing that I could actually call they is Sackboy. That's it.
It's a sack boy, so I mean, it's a dude.
Well, they call him a sack person. They just say sack boy. But when you look at the fucking sack boy,
clearly he's gender ambiguous.
He could be a cross-dresser. You never know.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, honestly, with Elliot Page becoming that, it makes a lot more sense than fucking Dixie Chicks now calling themselves the Chicks.
Just the Chicks.
Yeah. I didn't know this because originally I was watching a video and they mentioned Dixie Chicks. I was like, I wonder what they're up to since they badmouthed George Bush many years ago.
I didn't even know they were still
around. And they changed their name. Oh, they're still around and they're still making music. But they call themselves the Chicks because Dixie is racist.
Of course.
And they said they wanted to change their name for years because it was a stupid teenager name. And I'm like, well, you had this name for many fucking years, and now you want to change it?
It's mostly due to our current obsession with political correctness, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Because can't be too politically incorrect anymore.
Otherwise, you'll get you'll basically get witch hunted.
Pretty much,
the Twitter
yeah.
Puritans will come after you.
Yep.
Can we talk about how weird that is that there are so many people that essentially just live on Twitter? Like they don't do anything else but just be on Twitter all day.
Hey man, there are times when I'm at work and if I'm in the bathroom, I go to Twitter.
No, I'm talking about people who like they literally have no lives and that's all they do is.
Oh, like their main job is just
because I think there was like a research study or something that found that there was like a small group, it's really like a small group of people, but they post like all the time on Twitter, but they consist for like their post consists for a large majority of like posts on the site or something, but it's like just a small group of people doing it, and those are like the crazy people. So,
or the people that just have no life and they see one little thing. Oh, they said
like
something
these are the people that are
like.
coming after you on Twitter for like posts for like I don't know, fucking drawing like lewds of women or fucking saying something that is politically incorrect.
Or having a legit opinion about something, and you get into a slap fight. They get to throw themselves to a slap fight. I hate that shit. That shit bugs me.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, go outside. I don't care if there's a pandemic
Some
going around.
people just
go
need
outside.
to have their computers taken away from them, and their internet privileges revoked.
Okay, Karen, we're gonna put your computer with parental controls. No, I need to get on Twitter. That's been locked for a reason.
Pretty much. I mean, it's like it's almost like they have to be treated like children. You know, it's like, okay, Karen, yeah, your computers and your phones need to be confiscated now.
It's like,
or it's like that meme with the cat's paw, like on the person's hand, where it's like it's time to stop posting.
Or the gif is like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, Jesus. Oh man, it's even the worst thing. It's like you see people on Twitter that complain about, like, what was the one thing that came out recent? The space buns from Animal Crossing.
The what?
Okay, you know the hairstyle. It looks like you have like two fucking meat buns on their head.
Maybe.
Oh, hold on, I gotta find it. I'll find it so you can know exactly what I'm talking about. Hair buns. Let's see. God damn it. Because they added in... Hold on, let's see.
I mean, I think I have a general idea of what you might be talking about, but...
They call the hair is called space buns here. If you look at the picture for that, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Just look at that picture. Yeah, apparently people are calling... Because the woman that did it was white, and all people coming at her calling her racist because you're not supposed to wear that. It's like
cultural appropriation bullshit.
It's just a fucking hairstyle in a fucking children's game. Why the fuck?
Yeah, they get triggered over white people having dreads too. So
no, it's cornrows. Well, dreads, they don't care.
I don't know. They seem to care quite a bit.
I used to work with somebody that had dreadlocks, and they did it right, and I thought it was cool. But yeah, it's can't women do their hair the way they want to anymore?
No, because it's racist.
And also, it takes them for fucking ever. Fucking women in their hair.
Tis an age-old problem.
It's just a big fucking problem.
But yeah, I think we should probably get into the well, something. Oh.
There, that's where we're going. We're going to that topic.
Something related to the main topic. The guy who played Darth Vader in the original trilogy, the guy who's actually in the suit as Darth Vader, David Prowse. David Prowse, he passed away. He was 85, so I mean, he lived a long time at least. Yeah, it's still pretty sad.
That's like the only thing I know him for is he was Darth Vader.
Yeah, you're pretty much like most people associate Darth Vader with James Earl Jones, of course, but it's really like we only really see him, I think, in Return of the Jedi when we get a look underneath the mask.
I don't think that's him, though. No, he's only the guy walking around in the suit. Okay. But let's see.
So that wasn't his face.
No. Sebastian Shaw was the guy that did the unmasked Anakin. And
okay.
Funnily enough, he died in 94.
Damn.
And that was his last role, too.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's still sad nonetheless. It is definitely a shame because, you know, it's like I said, most people are just going to associate Vader with James Earl Jones.
Yeah. Apparently, they said that he died of a short, unlicensed or unknown illness, but apparently his daughter came out and said it was COVID related. So that's the thing. We don't really know for sure.
Yeah, and we also have to be careful with, like, you know, because I always have to wonder, like, is it really COVID? Because I've been hearing about, like, you know, these deaths of COVID supposedly are not actually COVID related, and or like some deaths or some different illnesses are being labeled as being COVID deaths. So I take some of these with a grain of salt. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be more hilarious. It's like, hey, this person was in a car accident.
He died
of COVID.
Yeah, that's all ironically what's happening though. They're kind of bumping up these fucking, or they're mislabeling these deaths so they can continue to fearmonger.
What if that actually, like, we live in a society or a future which is like kids can't have sex, or like teenagers can't have sex with each other because their parents are like, remember, if you have sex, you'll catch COVID.
I feel like that's the road we're headed down, though. It's like there's so many things they don't want us to do. I seriously, like, I mean, Christmas is probably either going to be canceled or they're like, you know, oh, you can't travel during Christmas. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
I'm sorry, Santa couldn't get you presents this year. He got you COVID.
Face masks instead.
He got you face masks, fucking, and hand sanitizer and toilet paper. It's like that episode of King of the Hill all over again.
Yeah.
Just burn the toilet paper at the end. You're not supposed to burn those. Those are for wiping.
Well, I think with that, there's not much, just too much to say about that, though. It's sad, but I don't really know what else we can really say. But I think we should probably move on to the main topic of remember when Star Wars was good?
Remember Star Wars? Yeah, let's just start off with the original trilogy, the one fucking trilogy that people hold in high regard.
Yeah, I grew up with Star Wars, so I remember watching the original trilogy on VHS. I think it was the special edition from the 90s.
Oh, you poor.
I don't think I ever saw, like, I don't know if I ever saw the originals, or the, you know, the unaltered ones. I feel like, I'm not sure. I don't know if I did or not. I know, actually, no, I think I'm pretty sure I've only seen the special editions because I remember certain things that were definitely just in the special editions.
I saw the originals, like the original versions of them.
I mean, I do have fond memories of, you know, just going to Blockbuster and checking out the movies, and I have the VHS box set for the original trilogy for I think the 90s special edition, which is like the least offensive special editions, I think, is the 90s ones. So if there's ones to watch, I would say it's probably those, because they have the least amount of unnecessary additions from Lucas.
Yeah, it's like fucking the original had, like, it was like bland in some areas, and then all of a sudden George Lucas was like, hey, let's have creatures walking in the background. It's the 90s, we could do that now.
There are some changes I don't mind, such as, you know, of course, because in the originals, Jabba was not actually a slug creature. He was just a dude. So George Lucas actually changed that in the special edition, and then, of course, that recanonized Jabba the Hutt as being, you know, like a slug. slug alien creature.
I think actually he was. That was one thing, but they made him into a slug in Return of the Jedi.
They don't show him in. Of course, because in Return of the Jedi, and then of course Lucas went back to New Hope and changed that.
And they added in the scene for that first special edition where it's like, hey, here's actually Jabba.
Yeah, well, the scene was, I think it was in the original, but it was like he was talking to like Jabba was not a slug thing. It was a dude.
He was just like big fat guy wearing a coat, but he spoke English though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, but they cut that scene out though because the runtime was probably too long.
Yeah, there are some added scenes like that or extended scenes.
Or let's not forget the fucking Jabba's palace scene where it's like, hey, that weird looking creature.
That's one of the worst. It's one of the worst additions. I hated that. Okay, I was a kid in my defense. As a kid, I thought it was cool, but like when I look back on it, I'm like, oh god, that's terrible. Why did I? That was so stupid.
I agree. It's just like when I was younger,
the effects are just not. They have not aged well. Like, of course, if you go back and watch it now, it's just oh god, it looks terrible. I mean, and it's just like, what is it even doing there? Why is there like a musical segment?
To say, hey, it's labeled. Yeah. But who knows?
Yeah. But of course, like, I watched the original trilogy. I loved the original. I had like a Darth Vader mask. I had like one of those Rebel pilot helmets or whatever. You know, I would wear them during Halloween. I was a huge Star Wars fan as a kid. I still am a big Star Wars fan, but like I remember I saw the prequel trilogy. I think I saw like all the prequel movies in theaters. So I remember that, and I was like, I pretty much loved all of them. I still liked prequels. They're not, I probably don't, would not like them as much, as I did as a kid, but I still like the prequels. Like, people shit on the prequels, but I think they're decent movies for what they are. I mean, they have problems. Like, I would say that I would pretty much agree with the popular opinion that Attack of the Clones is like probably my least favorite.
Agreed.
Yeah. Prequels are like the third one was definitely my favorite too. Out of the prequels.
Well, who as hokey as most of those movies were, especially the third one, it's like it was still good though. It's one of the best ones.
The third one I think people like the most just because it was the darkest one, and it was really like what everything the prequels were trying to do. Because it was trying to portray the fall of Anakin, which the prequel or the Revenge of the Sith was pretty much the what that movie was. The first two were just kind of
it was the first. Plus, it was the first Star Wars movie to be rated PG-13 instead of PG. Yeah.
And then of course people also argue that the Clone Wars series also kind of made people like. Actually have more of an appreciation for that era of Star Wars.
Which, are you talking about the TV show, the CG one, the Genndy Tartakovsky one?
More so the CG one. I mean, I think people like the Genndy Tartakovsky one, but I think, obviously most people just remember more so remember the CG show.
CG one. Oh, wait, they also, we'll probably cover that in what killed Star Wars.
Oh, you think the Clone Wars did?
Yes, they made a Clone Wars movie with the same CG style.
Yeah, people didn't really care for the movie as much. But I mean, I think the show, apparently, from what people say, the show redeems itself. I've only seen like random episodes of the show. I didn't see the movie. I still need to watch. I need to watch the movie and the whole entirety of the show because I have only, like I said, I've only seen like different random episodes from the show.
And you were like, "This is okay."
It was okay.
It's
I mean,
special.
It's like, yeah.
I
mean, people have differing opinions on like Ahsoka, and just the idea of Anakin having an apprentice in general.
I mean, it kind of made sense, but not.
I mean, they tried to fit it within the timeline of the movies, And I mean, it's to be fair, there's a lot you could like fit in between each of those movies, or at least in between like episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah, you could. It's called the Expanded Universe with the novels.
Well, yeah, that. But of course, you know, Dave Filoni tried to do his own thing with the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's like whenever I see like the books. Like I thought they were like stupid tie-in knockoffs.
Oh, I remember that's kind of what I thought too about the books. But then I learned like, oh no, it's all this other stuff, you know. And I mean, in terms of quality, the Expanded Universe books really tend to vary, but I've been hearing, like, I've heard so much about how good Heir to the Empire is. I still need to read that trilogy.
That's a trilogy. Yeah. I gotta look that up now.
The Thrawn trilogy. It takes place right after. Well, it takes place after Return of the Jedi. That's pretty much what introduces Grand Admiral Thrawn, and that's another thing. Grand Admiral Thrawn, probably the biggest missed opportunity for or at least, you know, Disney Star Wars. They could have done a sequel trilogy with Grand Admiral Thrawn. They didn't do that. Instead, they do it in Rebels, which I haven't seen Rebels, but I've heard people don't really like that version of Thrawn because they nerfed Thrawn in the Rebels show, which is sad.
Yeah, like didn't they say that Thrawn was like a main character, but not really?
Thrawn was basically the villain of the Heir to the Empire trilogy. He's pretty much he comes in right after the destruction of the Empire and tries to rebuild the Empire and tries to face off against Luke and the New Republic.
Like, they could have done a lot more.
And that's also the book that introduces other characters such as Mara Jade, who is in the Expanded Universe. Mara Jade is Luke Skywalker's wife.
Like, Disney, why didn't you bring that in? Luke had a fucking wife.
Luke had a wife, and he had actually, like, multiple children.
He was a Skywalker that fucked.
Yeah, you know what he is in the sequel trilogy? He's a sad, lonely hermit that lives on an island, and has his
alien.
And that's the thing that I'm just, like, so confused about. Like, so did the entire, like, was the entire Jedi Order just destroyed after, like, Luke tried to kill fucking Ben Solo, and then, like, and then, like, it just fucked up everything? Like, where's the other Jedi? What the fuck happened to them? Like, because in the Expanded Universe, like, Luke has, like, there's a whole bunch of Jedi running around after, especially, like, you know, considering that the sequel trilogy takes place 30 some odd years after the original trilogy. Like, there should be quite a few Jedi. Because if you know anything about the Expanded Universe stuff, you know that there's like multiple different Jedi after the destruction of the Empire.
It's like, I've now noticed that,
but they don't explain shit.
Fucking...
Like, that's the thing. Like, they don't even explain, like, where did all the Jedi go? I don't fucking know. read the tie-in
Order
book.
66. Order 66. That's what happened.
Oh yeah.
We don't bring up Order 69.
or Palpatine's The Final Order. That's yeah, because like in the sequels they're called the First Order, and then in the Rise of Skywalker he's like, now it's the Final Order. I'm like, that's so stupid. What are you talking about?
He was trying to be so edgy.
I want to bury the Star Destroyers, and then they'll come out to the ground in one really dramatic scene. And I'm like, what's the point of burying Star Destroyers in the ground? Like, why would you do that? It just...
So I can show people how powerful I really am.
And I guess they're just people like sitting around in the Star Destroyers, like waiting for fucking Palpatine to be like, okay guys, here's the scene. It's time for you to just fucking come out of the ground and like, go into space, I guess.
And they're all dead.
Yeah.
Just imagine they're all dead. He's like, I didn't think this through. Oh, bring him back to life.
I love that scene at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker. There's a bunch of just pickled snow clones in tubes. And fucking vats of snow clone.
Who are you? I am everyone.
I was the one pulling the strings the whole time.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Darth Kennedy the Unwise.
God damn it. Well, I think that we can actually mention like 2 films that came for the sequel trilogy, or somewhat, that were good, which was
I swear if you fucking say Solo. Did you think Solo was a good movie?
Fuck that.
What other movie did you say?
I said Force Awakens and Rogue One. The only reason why I put Force Awakens on there is because when that came out, and
okay, Rogue One, yeah, like and the thing is, like Rogue One actually could have been a significantly better movie too, because I heard they like really screwed over Gareth Edwards. Like apparently there's a lot of scenes that he wasn't even able to put in Rogue One. Like they cut it out. Somebody actually came in and like edited the movie down significantly. And the final product is like apparently only like has a fraction of the stuff that Gareth Edwards had in the movie. So like I was kind of disappointed, but it's still a good movie. But yeah, like I was like, when I heard about that, I'm like, damn, they really fucked him over like that. Because if you remember in the trailers too, like the trailers have scenes that aren't even in the movie. Like I'm guessing maybe some of those were like stuff that Gareth Edwards was going to put in there, but it probably just got cut.
They took it out.
And apparently, like I think they were going to have some character arc with like Jyn Erso having some kind of a moral dilemma or something, and they cut that out too. Because like in the trailers it implies that she was going to, something like that was going to happen, but they just didn't go do anything with it. And I think the weakest part of Rogue One is Jyn as a character is bland as hell. I didn't give a shit about her. Most of the other characters I didn't really care for. I liked the blind guy. He was kind of cool. And like K2SO is probably like my favorite character in that movie, actually. Just because he's he's a smart ass. Like, I just thought he was the best character. Cassian Andor is also a bland, boring character. Most of the other characters, I was just like, I don't care.
When they brought in,
what's his face? Mads Mikkelsen's character, I actually thought was okay.
Yeah. I think it's funny when you bring in the robot, they actually brought in somebody who actually does good as voice roles. Alan Tudyk.
Oh, I didn't even know who played him.
Yeah, that was the robot. He was all... Funny enough, he's the fucking chicken in Moana.
Also, funny thing too is like, I think the person in the Rebels that voices Thrawn is someone related to Mads Mikkelsen. I forget what the actor's name is.
What, in Star Wars Rebels?
So I was thinking, like, man, if they cast like live action Thrawn, they should get like Mads or some of.
Actually, that's not his. It's not his father. You said what was it?
I think I heard he was related to him. I don't.
His brother. Yeah, Mads.
Well, I didn't say it was
brother.
His father.
Lars.
Oh yeah, okay.
I am your father.
Yeah, it was Mads Mikkelsen's brother, but like I heard his like what he sounds like in Rebels, and I'm like, well, he sounds good. I think they did good on the voice. People were like predicting like I should also go ahead and say like spoilers for Mandalorian, because I just feel like I'm gonna bring this up eventually anyway. But they hint at Thrawn in the latest episode, so people are going wild with the Thrawn theories of how he's gonna basically be introduced in live action. So like people are like saying like, oh, who's gonna play Thrawn? How's he gonna like? Is he gonna show up in the Mandalorian? Is he gonna show up in, because they're planning on doing like an Ahsoka spinoff show too? Is he gonna show up in the Ahsoka spinoff show? I think it's most likely he's gonna show up in the Ahsoka spinoff show. But somebody also had like a really crazy theory that I feel like he's probably right. Because it seems like Star Wars, what they're trying to do with the Star Wars shows and the spin-off shows now is they're eventually going to try to connect them all and to sort of have them sort of be like kind of like an MCU-like thing, where they're all going to be like end up like connecting in some way, and Thrawn is going to be like at the center of everything essentially, and he's going to be like the main villain, sort of like, and he compared him to like Thanos from like the MCU, like how Thanos was sort of in the background. And then he was like the main villain in, you know, like Infinity War and Endgame. so he was saying, like, what if Thrawn, like, what if they tried to eventually do, like, a retelling of the Heir to the Empire books, like, in their own way? And I'd be like, that would be a really good idea, actually. Like, I could see that as a really good way for Disney to kind of redeem Star Wars in a way, if they try to have it all lead up to some big event sort of thing, where it's kind of like the Heir to the Empire, like a retelling of it or something. And Thrawn is, like, the main villain.
I mean, they could, but it needs a lot more work on it.
Because people were also saying, like, because the recent episode also hints at, because Ahsoka said she's not going to train the child, so Mandalorian, or Din Djarin, has to take the child to a planet and get another Jedi to come along. And a lot of people are also speculating on what Jedi could come train the child. And some people are saying it could be Luke. And obviously it's not going to be Mark Hamill that's going to come back to play Luke. And if Luke ever does show up again, because it would have to be a younger Luke. So some people are speculating it could be Sebastian Stan.
Which could work, like, if you compare both a young Mark Hamill to him.
Yeah, he does kind of look like young Mark Hamill. For those of you who don't know, Sebastian Stan is the actor that plays Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies.
Yep.
But yeah, it kind of looks like him a little bit. So I think he could pull it off, but I don't know. I think it's very unlikely we're going to see a young Luke Skywalker show up anytime soon. I don't know. I don't know what could happen. There's so many possibilities. And, like, I'm honestly, like, it's been a long time since I've been this excited for Star Wars, because I'm just, like, excited at the possibilities as to what could happen. Like, what could happen with Thrawn, what could happen with whatever Jedi is going to show up in the next episode, and then also with whatever is going to also happen with the Dark Troopers that were revealed in one of the more recent episodes of Mandalorian.
Yeah, because weren't you like, it's like, you're really excited about it now. Because I remember it's like, Force Awakens, yeah, Rogue One, yeah, Last Jedi, yeah, but when you go see it, you're like, this sucks.
Well, yeah, like, I remember when Force Awakens came out, I was like, oh man, I'm really excited for Star Wars, oh, this is amazing, Lucas ruined everything, this, JJ's gonna save it, yeah, and then it's like, I saw it and I was like, I thought it was good. Like, I actually, like, defended it. And then, like, when I look back on it, I'm like, there's so many problems with this. And especially when you keep in mind, like, the movies that came after that, too. And, yeah, when The Last Jedi was about to come out, like, the main thing I was excited for was, like, I wanted to learn what was going on with Luke Skywalker. Like, why is he alone on an island? What's he gonna do? What are they gonna do with Luke Skywalker? Like, because Luke Skywalker is, like, one of my favorite characters in fiction, so, like, I wanted to know what they were gonna do with him. And you can imagine my immense disappointment when I watched the movie and I learned what they did decide to do with him, because it was like the whole movie I was like, okay, this is a weird thing to do with his character, but I was kind of like waiting for, like, because I was waiting for the moment when he would actually do something, like, is he going to join the fight? What's he going to do? Like, what? And like, the whole movie, he's just, like, on the fucking island, just, like, yeah, I don't know, like, oh, man, the Jedi were terrible people. Sidious came to power because the Jedi were bad. And I tried to kill my nephew, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, what?
You're ruining Star Wars!
I was just like, and then, like, I remember everybody, like fucking clapped in the theater when they got to the throne room scene where after Snoke dies and then, like, Kylo and Rey are fighting together. I guess everybody thought that, like, oh, hey, is Kylo going to be a good guy now? And then he just goes back to being a bad guy, and, like, the whole throne room scene was stupid, too, because the choreography was shitty. It was just not a good scene. It wasn't even a lightsaber fight. They just fought a bunch of Praetorian guards.
And someone didn't even get hit. They just fell over on their own.
They also had a knife. Like, somebody had a knife, and they were about to stab Rey, and then they edited out the knife. If you pay attention, you'll see a knife that just disappears. So, like, it was... Yeah, like, they literally edited out a knife. it was really bad. I didn't even notice that the first time. Somebody caught that. I was like, wow, that's like some amateur hour shit. Like, how do you make that mistake?
I mean, would you rather have that mistake or leave a fucking Starbucks coffee cup on the set?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, also in the recent episode of, and I think it was one of the more recent episodes of Mandalorian, like there was apparently there was a guy in one of the shots, and it was one of the crew, and he was in one of the shots, and they like I guess they didn't catch it, so the episode released and you could see him. So I think they digitally edited it out later though. But yeah, it was just called Jeans Guy, because he was still like just standing. You could just see a dude in jeans like standing in like the hallway, like half of him, like you could see like half of his body at least, like just standing in the hallway.
Yeah, it's like, and then apparently they put him on the, I think it was like the Wikipedia, the blue jeans guy. I think that's Hold on, I'm gonna look that up.
Is that like a joke article?
No, his name is Pants. Oh wait, no, wait, what? No, that's it.
They have a whole Wikipedia article about fucking jeans.
Oh, they got rid of it. No.
That'd be hilarious.
Great. Like, I'm clicking on all these, and it's so funny. I see Pants, unidentified guy in a t-shirt and jeans, Darth Jeans,
Darth Jeans,
Admiral Jeff Blue Jeans.
Oh god.
Jesus Christ. It's so good.
I think we kind of briefly went over some of like the spin-off cartoons, right? Like, you know, yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen Rebels, so I can't really talk about that one. I haven't really seen much of Clone Wars either, so
I didn't either, but a lot of people liked it.
You see any of Rebels?
I saw parts of it, and they brought back Darth Maul, and they got somebody who actually did a good job at it.
Yeah, that was a thing a lot of fans liked, and then there was an episode with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, where Darth Maul actually dies.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, there's one that can save us, and it's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. One thing speaking of Darth Maul, one thing we could add to the podcast is George Lucas's original sequel trilogy outlines. So it was revealed, like, I think months ago, that what George's original plans were for his sequel trilogy. Basically, his sequel trilogy would be focusing on something called the Wills, which the Wills are basically the things that control the Force. It'd basically be doubling down on the midichlorian thing. So a lot of people, when they heard that, they were like, no, don't. But I honestly, like, I don't really have... I was one of the people who didn't really have as much of a problem with the midichlorian thing from the prequels. And I would be fine if Lucas decided to expand on that in the sequel trilogy. Or at least his version of it.
Yeah.
But basically, like, he described it as, like, it would be the Wills, like, they would kind of... They would kind of have like a micro verse sort of thing, kind of like what you've seen with the Ant-Man movies, like where they have the where they go really tiny and they go into like the whatever it's called, the microverse or whatever the hell it is, the quantum realm. That's it. So it would be like basically the Star Wars version of the quantum realm, where they would explore like they would explore the stuff about the Wills. But then there's another thing that came out just recently about the sequels would not really be focused so much on Luke Skywalker, but it would be focused on some new characters. They had some concept art for it. One character looked like a young version of Anakin, and one looked like, I guess, a younger version of Leia. I forget what the guy's name was, but the girl's name was Kira. If you remember, Kira is the name of that one character from Solo, so they kind of reused that. But apparently there was also more that came out recently about Lucas's ideas for his sequel trilogy. He revealed that basically that Darth Maul was going to be the main villain, or like one of the main villains of his sequel trilogy. That Darth Maul would basically be like a crime lord or something.
I mean, that could make
and
sense.
Then,
like, so you can like...
And Darth Maul actually in the comics had an apprentice called Darth Talon, which is like a female, I guess like a female, like kind of like evil version of that I think it's the same race as Ahsoka, but she's red instead of like how Ahsoka looks. But yeah, basically Darth Talon would be equivalent to like the Darth Vader or something of the sequel trilogy, I guess. And Darth Maul would be like the Master. So I don't know. I thought that was that would have been it's interesting, but I mean, definitely would have been better than what we got, I think, with the Disney.
It makes sense.
Disney Star Wars.
Yep. Let's see. Great. Now I'm looking up all these characters. I looked up Darth Talon, who, yep, that happened.
Yeah, my friend was like, yeah, Darth Talon's pretty thick.
They have that, and apparently they have like a lot of other characters, like Cade Skywalker, Cole Skywalker.
Yeah, like I told you, Luke has like a bunch of fucking kids.
No, fuck, I'm
Ben
going
Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Oh, his Wikipedia article's probably like really fucking long.
Darth Sidious briefly, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Joruus, both.
Did you ever look into the Mara Jade article I linked you?
I did.
Such a missed opportunity.
Ben Skywalker. And here's Ben Skywalker, the better one.
Look up Darth Kaidus. Darth Kaidus. For those who don't know, Ben Solo is basically a ripoff of Darth Kaidus from the expanded universe. Darth Kaidus is actually the brother of Jaina Solo, who was the daughter of Han Solo and Leia.
Okay, I couldn't spell Kaidus right. Apparently it's with a C.
Yeah, he was a light side Jedi, and then he got corrupted by the dark side, I think. Or no, he didn't get corrupted by it, but he thought that if he switched to the dark side, he would become more powerful and able to protect the ones he loved, or something. I don't know if he was. I think that was the reasoning.
Anakin Solo.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're getting a little bit off track. Yeah, basically, I was saying, yeah, there's a bunch of expanded universe characters that I really wish would have been in the movies or whatever, but they still could introduce them in the shows, in their own versions of them, like Mara Jade. I mean, if Thrawn is coming in, then they could introduce Mara Jade, because Mara Jade was actually an assassin that worked for Thrawn.
Mara Jade?
Yeah, Luke's wife.
God, good lord.
Yeah,
it's like, it makes a lot of sense. Hmm? It makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah, Mara Jade tried to kill Luke, but he converted her over to the light side, and she became his wife.
Yeah, well, that's just sad. I'm gonna kill you. Luke's like, nah, we're gonna fuck.
Pretty much, yeah.
Shit!
I can't resist your powers of seduction. He used force persuasion on her. He was super effective.
Tosses away the fucking blue milk. I didn't need this after all.
Tosses away the green milk. The green alien.
The blue milk. Now he has better milk after all. Where have you been all my life?
Yeah. So I think we could also move on to... We kind of have gone... We went over some of the novels, of the expanded universe novels.
We did. Let's talk about the video games, like the good ones.
Well, I can talk about the ones I've been playing recently, which are the Dark Forces games, starring everybody's favorite badass, Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn is essentially the Chuck Norris of Star Wars.
What, not Shadows of the Empire?
I've been meaning to play Shadows of the Empire. I haven't gotten around to playing it. But, yeah, Shadows of the Empire has Dash Rendar.
And what about everyone's favorite games? Republic Commando.
Republic Commando is a great game. It's a good first-person shooter.
Yeah, it was. First tactical first-person shooter.
Well, The Dark Forces games are first-person shooters. Like the first one, the first one is, and the first one actually I think runs on the. I think it's pretty much a Doom clone. Like it's just Star Wars, the Star Wars version of Doom essentially, because you're just it's Dark Forces is basically like, you play as a guy called Kaotikast. He was like a mercenary for the Republic. He's the guy that originally stole the Death Star plans, not fucking Generoso from Rogue One. He stole the Death Star plans, and in the first Dark Forces, it's basically about this thing called the Dark Trooper Project. And the Dark Trooper Project, what it is like these like battle droids that are basically been reprogrammed, and these troopers that are basically like buffed up stormtroopers, but they have black armor, and they have different weapons. That's one of the things they introduced recently in the Mandalorian too. So I was really interested to see like live action version of that. But yeah, that's basically what the game is. It's not really, the plot really isn't anything all that complex. It's really like the second game where things start to get more interesting, because that's when Kyle becomes a Jedi. Because like in the first game he's not a Jedi, he's just a guy. But then in Dark Forces 2, his father gets murdered by he murdered by a dark Jedi, and then like he finds his father's lightsaber, and he's like, and he finds out I guess he has Force sensitivity, and he's like, okay, I'm a Jedi now, I guess. So I'm a Jedi, I found the sword. So it's basically the whole game is him trying to avenge his father and kill the guy that killed his father, and the guy that killed his father there's a whole bunch of other Jedi that are with him called the Dark Jedi, and it takes place after the original trilogy timeline. So yeah, not the best plot, but it's interesting enough. The game itself is fucking hard as hell though. Like if you play the game on hard, it does not hold your hand at all. Like it's a hard as fuck game. Like you will die pretty quick. Even when you have the lightsaber, you can deflect some like blaster shots, but not all of them. And you remember how stormtroopers they can't shoot the broadside of a barn in the movies? Well, in the game, they are incredibly fucking precise. So yeah, and there are also not only stormtroopers, but other enemies in the game that are more precise than them. So it's like, have fun with that.
Yeah, it's like the one thing that makes no sense is like in fucking the movies or shows, they're like, oh hey, they suck at shooting. Game kills you with one hit. It's like, God damn it. Or the Force Awakens, or not Awakens, the Force Unleashed.
Well, in the Force Unleashed, you're just totally overpowered. So
yeah, but if you're like not paying attention, all of a sudden beep 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 beep.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you do have to be careful in that game too.
Yeah, because it's like you're almighty badass.
Force Unleashed is another really good Star Wars game.
We talk about both 1 and 2.
Just one. I haven't played the second one. I don't really know if I should play the second one, considering what I've heard about it.
It's like one of those games that you kind of want to play out of curiosity, but you don't really have.
Yeah, I mean, just to see where they went with the plot, which it got even more ridiculous, and they were originally going to make a third game, but I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting to see what kind of game it would have been, but I don't think it's any great loss that we never got the third one, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that we never got
because the second one just got really ridiculous, like as Starkiller had a clone or something. Like, because for those who don't know, he at least in the I guess like in the at least in the ending where you are. You go with like the light side or whatever. You do the light side choice, I guess. Starkiller dies, but in the Sith ending, or the bad ending, technically, like I think he lives. He replaces the Emperor or something like that, or he becomes subservient to I forget what happens. Like, but yeah, like
he gained intelligence.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck this, I'm not going to fight you again. I'm not going to fight you, Darth Vader.
Yeah, those are good games. There's a lot of good Star Wars games that were under, like, LucasArts before they got bought out by Disney.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yep. The other Kaotikast game, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and then there was also the Jedi Academy game,
which is on the PS4.
That one also has Luke Skywalker in it. Jedi Outcast also has Luke Skywalker in it. It has Kaotikast teaming up with Luke Skywalker, and it's also post original trilogy too.
Huh.
Also, yeah, another thing I should mention too is speaking of Mara Jade, I started playing the standalone expansion for Dark Forces 2 because I just recently beat that. And the standalone expansion actually has Mara Jade from the Expanded Universe books, and I think it's the only appearance of Mara Jade in the video games. She's pretty much like, I think, the apprentice of Kyle Katarn. And it's like, I think it takes place after the Thrawn books, because it says it's like after Luke converts her over to the light side.
It's like all these games I need to play.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. Not only in the video games, but also the books. But of course, like, yeah, then there's also the games that after Disney bought out Lucasfilm, or Lucasfilm.
Or Disney bought them, LucasArts.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Disney buying out LucasArts, or Lucasfilms, actually, whichever.
I think it was Lucasfilm. I don't know if LucasArts is still around.
No, they closed down. They shut them down when Disney bought them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the other things Disney did, they also, of course, decanonized the Expanded Universe.
Yeah, but they're still around though. But they work for EA.
Oh god.
And another thing that's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Force Unleashed 3 was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
The guy who played Starkiller, they were in an interview saying that it was going to happen.
But Visceral,
Wii U.
Was it Visceral that worked on that game, or was it somebody?
I don't think so.
Well, the studio got closed down, I think. I was working on those games.
Hang on.
Because it was an EA studio.
No, it was Lucas. No, because LucasArts published it.
I think
and developed
it.
It
was Visceral that worked on that game. Yeah.
No, Visceral didn't work on it. It was mostly LucasArts.
Anyways, yeah. Then there's the newer games, like the Battlefront games, which the first game wasn't so good, but the second game was terrible in the beginning, but they got better apparently after it was out for a while.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about things that killed off Star Wars.
Well, and then there are games that are actually good, like the Jedi Fallen Order game was a decent game. Like, it was fine for what it was.
Yeah, it's like that's the one game that redeemed the fucking video game franchise.
Talk about the other Star Wars game I played. You remember Bounty Hunter? It was Jango Fett.
Yeah, I had that on my PS4.
That was a great game too.
Never played it, but I
played
always got a chance to.
Really fun game.
Did you ever play Rogue Squadron?
Yes, Rogue Squadron was great.
How did you forget Rogue Squadron?
I don't know. There's so many games I played. I was like trying to condense it down, but yeah, I was like, Rogue Squadron was another one. I think you also take part in the Battle of Hoth in that game, and you can like do the thing where you like tie the rope around the ATSTs, like bring them down. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that you actually can play the fucking movie.
Oh, there was also Star Wars Rebel Assault, which was it was like I don't remember much other than the game had like FMV cutscenes. Dark Forces 2 also has FMV cutscenes. So like it has like real actors and stuff. And it looks really weird because the FMV cutscenes in that are, you can tell there's like green screens and stuff, and the effects are not as good as in the movies, so it's a little bit funny to like look back on it, because of course it was the game came out in like 97, so it did not age well with like the cutscenes.
No, some fucking shows did not last or games didn't last.
The FMV ones, like, is they just you can tell like how much like they were not on a very high budget with some of them.
Some of them weren't even that good.
Yeah. Is there anything else we can talk about with the games? Because I'm like trying to remember what else I really played. I know my friend was telling me I should play the Squadrons game. Apparently that's actually good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like it doesn't even try to be like Rogue Squadron because you can't go to third person. It has to be first person cockpit.
I mean, I don't mind that, but I kind of would have liked if they had the option to switch between first
to go third person. Yeah, no, that's why I was hoping, but no, didn't happen. But it's still fun though.
I mean, it looks fun.
It is until you had my luck.
Okay, so I think we could go over what killed Star Wars. We kind of went over some of it because, you know, like the sequel trilogy, or well, more specifically, The Last Jedi. I think it's what
The Last Jedi. I would also say Rise of Skywalker also killed
Rise
it
of Skywalker
well.
was more like the final nail in the coffin, I think.
The final nail in the coffin, and it was the worst fucking way to end the entire series.
It was literally just a rushed product. Because The Last Jedi just fucked things up so much that they had no idea how to finish off the sequel trilogy.
And then you had Solo, which
Solo bombed at the box office. So
yeah, and funny enough, they had fucking Childish Gambino or Donald Glover in it, who is a good actor. But
the other thing with that too is Kathleen Kennedy, in her infinite wisdom, decided to fire Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who were originally working on the movie, and they had most of the movie apparently done. And she decided, no, I'm going to fire you now, and I'm going to have Ron Howard come in and replace you, and he's going to basically re-edit and like shoot and refilm parts of the movie. So yeah, they lost a lot of money on that because they had to bring in fucking Ron Howard to like quote unquote fix the movie.
Miss Kennedy, this was a terrible idea. Why did you bring in Ron Howard? He made the Da Vinci Code. I like that movie.
It like the joke's on them too, because Phil Lord and Chris Miller, like they probably would have made a good fucking movie, like because they're like, you know, I think they said it was more of a comedy movie because, you know, of course Phil Lord and Chris Miller are more like comedy directors, but
they're good at making like things funny. They were behind the Lego movie,
and like you can kind of see elements of that in Solo. Like apparently there were some things that I think were intended originally to be more like comedic, and then like Ron Howard tried to make things more serious, I guess, and it just didn't work out well because there's sort of like a tonal whiplash, I guess, with some of the scenes.
Yeah, it's like it was supposed to be comedic because fucking Han Solo is a smartass.
Yeah.
So you need comedic timing with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a more comedy-oriented movie could potentially work with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just kind of, you know, just with the whole relationship with Han and Chewie, there'd be a bunch of jokes coming out of that too. But there's just a lot of missed opportunities with that movie. I mean, it could have, you know, like, you could have done a pretty good Han Solo spin-off movie, but I mean, we have a constant theme of Kennedy coming in and deciding to throw her weight around and change stuff, because this is, of course, what ends up happening with the sequels and with Rogue One as well as the Solo movie. She pretty much just decides to just butt in every production and just decide, you know, changes, just do all these unnecessary changes. But that's really why the Mandalorian has been as good as it has been, is because she's pretty much had no involvement with the show. It's pretty much just Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's show. Yeah, because they fucking know exactly what they need for Star Wars, what Star Wars needs. Apparently Dave Filoni is pretty much an expert on Star Wars lore, and you can kind of tell, you know, when you watch the show, because you see all the references and Easter eggs and like characters from the lore coming in.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's talk about Kathleen Kennedy, though, because all she's just a fucking CEO that has ideas.
She's a glorified secretary. Like, she was George Lucas's secretary, and she didn't really do anything, even when she was, like, a producer. She's credited as, like, a producer, but apparently she didn't really do much of anything, like, creatively, from what I've heard, which is not really surprising.
She didn't bring in any good ideas. Instead, it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, her coming out and saying that the books or the expanded universe isn't canon. There's no source material to use for future projects.
Yeah, her specific quote was like, we don't have 800-page novels to reference for the movies or something.
When there's fucking shitloads of books.
Books and comics, yeah.
You know what? Let's look up Google.
Oh, God.
How many Star Wars books are there? 24.
What? You probably should have been more specific. Star Wars
okay,
EU
because there's... Perfect. EU books. Good Lord. 381!
We don't have any books, though.
If you want to look at the good ones, 86 books. Yeah, there's no source material. There's nothing we can work with. We can't adapt.
We don't have anything, guys. It's not like there's been like years and years and years of fucking material we could have used, and not just from the books, but the video games too.
Yeah, you don't even have to use the fucking books. You can just pick up fucking Battlefront, make a movie series,
make a goddamn movie series about Kyle Katarn. Just do that.
You can do that too. Or Shadow of the Empire.
Yeah, Dash Rendar. Use Dash Rendar. They were originally going to make a bunch of expanded material for Shadows of the Empire. They had a fucking bunch of ideas for that. But yeah.
And they shouldn't have closed down fucking Kathleen Kennedy. Shouldn't have shut down.
One of the biggest complaints people have with Disney Star Wars, at least with the movies, and it's something I agree with too, is they make the world feel so small. And I think that's mainly because they rely so much on the original trilogy characters and the
lore.
Yeah, like they don't show any of the stuff that was in the expanded universe and the video games and the any of the other characters. Like, they don't focus on any of that. There's no world building, and it's like, yeah, that's why it feels so small, because it's like it feels like everything is just all the just the main cast of the original trilogy, and there's no explanation for what's going on. So yeah, that's probably why it feels so constrained, because they're like they literally just decide to focus just on also just these new characters, and the new characters are boring, and it's pretty much just they're kind of like supposed to be like the sequel trilogy replacements for Luke Skywalker and the other characters from the original trilogy.
In the beginning, I'm going to go back to Force Awakens. In the beginning, they were interesting.
Finn was interesting. Finn was interesting, and Rey in the beginning of the movie was interesting. When they started having Rey solve all these fucking problems and pull stuff out of her ass, that's when it started to... When I'm like, I don't know. No.
Actually, this is why I'll give The Force Awakens a pass, especially with Rey. She had no idea she could do it, and she experimented with it, and she didn't even think it would work.
Yeah, I guess, but...
You will remove my restraints. What the fuck you say? And she tries it again. She didn't think it would work.
How did she even... Well, here's the other thing, though. How did she even know about How does she know about Jedi mind tricks? Like, where did she...
Remember when she goes, Luke Skywalker... Luke Skywalker thought he was a myth. Like, she knew about the Jedi. She probably read about it.
Yeah, but that's another stupid thing, too. Like, why the hell would you think they're a myth? I had such a problem with that, because it's like the Jedi should be around. They're real. Like, this is the thing too. Like, Rey, it almost feels like Rey is supposed to be like the audience. Like, don't you get that impression? Like, Rey is not a character. Like, she's she's just the audience. Like, we're experiencing this with her. Like, you know, she doesn't understand stuff that happened in the universe. Just like, you know, I guess like the audience is supposed to not understand it or something like that. Like, it just felt that way. Like, it's like,
true.
Yeah, like in some ways, but I'm just like, but within the universe, it makes no sense. Like, why wouldn't she know about any of this stuff unless she's literally been living under a goddamn rock? Like,
well, she was living on a desert
but
planet
even still, like, they would know about that. There's no fucking way. There's no way nobody knows about who the fuck Luke Skywalker is. He brought down the goddamn Empire, and he.
Yeah, but it's like no one knows about it because he's vanished and no one knows where he's at.
Yeah, well, that's another thing they just didn't really explain.
Yeah,
well, they don't explained really it, but it's fucking stupid, and it's completely out of character.
Or they don't. The one thing that I don't understand, they don't tell you how much time has passed.
I think they. Well, I think they do. I think it says like 30+ years. I think. So like 30.
No,
don't they say it's been like 30-something years after the original trilogy?
Yeah, but at the same time, no. I'm talking about like film, like in the universe wise. When they're saying Luke Skywalker has vanished, it's like, okay, how much time has passed?
Well, that's I mean, they just don't really give you a sense for like anything like that, and like yeah, and I mean, like, Luke should have established like a Jedi, like a Jedi Order at this point. There should be like I said before, there should be plenty of other Jedi around. Like, where are all the other Jedi? Why is it just fucking Ben Solo and Rey and Luke, and that's it?
Yeah, well,
and I guess you could argue Leia in the sequels because they tried to make Leia a Jedi, but she's not. She's just kind of force sensitive.
I'm just gonna float in space.
Yeah, fucking Mary Poppins.
God damn it!
That scene was so like, you could. It would have been fun. Like, can you imagine? Like, God, holy fuck! That would have. How many problems could have been avoided with the Rise of Skywalker had they just killed her? Had they just killed her in that scene, instead of the stupid shit that Rian Johnson did with that fucking scene where he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna have her float to the like." What? When I saw that, even when I first saw that in the movie theater, I was like, I didn't hate it initially, but I was incredibly confused. I'm like, what in the fuck did I just witness?
Honestly, whenever I saw that scene in theaters, I'm not gonna lie, when she was floating towards the safety, I kind of chuckled at it and I kind of giggled because I thought it was ridiculous.
Looked stupid.
It did, and apparently the person that was sitting like a few seats, but like to the right of me, looked at me like I was laughing at that. I was like, it was fucking dumb.
Also, nobody apparently, like most people, didn't even really notice they killed off Akbar in that scene too. Akbar was in the fridge, and they blew it when Kylo blew it up.
No, I noticed that Akbar
and
died.
They don't even reference. Holy shit! They don't even fucking acknowledge in the movie. Hey, you killed off Akbar. Like. Nobody fucking mentions it, like, you know, but oh my god. There's so many things wrong with that movie. Also, did we mention, okay, we haven't brought this up yet, so Rian Johnson's, he's infamous for saying some stupid fucking shit on Twitter. He's been shitting on the fans on Twitter even before, like, that movie came out, because he had this, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a picture of him like with this stupid fucking sign, and it says "Your Snoke theory sucks."
Oh, what was the Snoke theory?
There's a bunch of theories about Snoke before The Last Jedi. That Snoke was, or that he could be Mace Windu, and all this other stuff.
Wait. What?
Yeah, well, because Mace Windu, I think people say he's still alive.
Okay, what would make him go evil,
I don't know.
Okay, I will agree with Rian Johnson on that one. That theory sucks.
Yeah, but it's seen as just disrespectful and dickish to do that, though. But and also when you consider what he ended up doing with Snoke too, it makes him seem like even more of a dick. Like, it felt like he was just doing that to get at the fans, to be honest.
Another thing that he did, which really kind of pissed me off about him, is that someone was saying something about, I forget what it was, like force lightning or something like that. I forget what it was, but apparently he like tried to come across as he's a big know-it-all, so he grabs one of his books, opens it up to the exact page where they're talking about that issue. He's like, well, I guess y'all are wrong.
Yeah, I do not like Rian Johnson as a person. He is also, like, I won't say he's a terrible director. Like, he's done some episodes of Breaking Bad, and he's also did... I also saw the movie Knives Out he did, which I actually thought was an okay movie. Like, it was actually somewhat decent, but... I
heard it was a good movie. I never got a chance to see it.
It was a pretty decent movie, but, like, yeah, Last Jedi was fucking awful. Like, I just don't know why they thought Rian Johnson was a good idea for Star Wars. But basically, like, one of his recent tweets is basically that the reason why he didn't have Anakin Skywalker show up as a Force ghost and had Yoda show up instead was that he said that Luke has more of a relationship with Darth Vader than he does with Anakin Skywalker, which is incredibly retarded and shows how much he knows about the original trilogy. Luke is Darth Vader is still, like, you know, is basically he's the enemy. Like, you know, Anakin Skywalker is the person Luke is trying to save. Darth Vader is, like, you know, is basically
the dark side.
Yeah, like it's Anakin giving into the dark side. He's trying to save his father. Like, to say he has a relationship with Vader it sounds like really that's not really correct. Like, it's more he has more of a relation, and it's like that. Yeah, they are one and the same person, but you could also say, like, you know, they're also kind of like metaphorically like two different people, because like Anakin kind of like essentially sort of gave up his humanity as, like, once he became Vader, but Luke realizes that there is still good within Vader, and that person is still Anakin Skywalker still exists, and he's trying to, like, bring Anakin back.
Yeah, which he kind of did that in
yeah.
Return
So
of the
why
Jedi
in
too.
the hell wouldn't Anakin Skywalker show up when Luke has, like, lost his way to, like, steer him back on the path of good? Why in the hell would it, like,
Okay,
I mean, you could make an argument for Yoda, sure, and I would kind of agree. Like, yeah, Yoda showing up doesn't make sense, but Anakin showing up would honestly make much more sense to me. Because, like, yeah, he didn't really have a lot of time to get to know Anakin personally, but he knows who Anakin is. Like, he's from the stories he's been told.
Yeah, like, he knew about him from Ben Kenobi and somewhat of Yoda, I believe. Yeah. Yep, we can all just say that Rian Johnson is a dumbass.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to say about Rian Johnson.
Did we talk about how EA tried to ruin Star Wars with Battlefront?
I mean, I said that, like, the first game was fairly mediocre, and then, the first game was okay. The second one was not good at first.
Bad.
Yeah.
And then they improved it. They got rid of the microtransactions, and it became a better game.
Yeah.
Or we could just talk about the holiday special, since it is around Christmas time.
Yeah, the holidays. I've only, like, seen parts of the holiday special. Like, isn't it about the like, Chewbacca's family? Like, the Wookiee Christmas?
Yeah, about Chewbacca's family, because they're like, oh, we need to get back home to Chewie's home and celebrate Life Day. It's like, what the fuck is Life Day? Like, they're trying to say, oh, it's their form of Christmas.
Yeah, and then, like, I think Mark Hamill was in that too.
They had everybody. They had the people that played it. Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Han Solo, Harrison Ford. They had everybody from the original trilogy in there. And it's really bad though, because George Lucas hates that fucking thing.
I don't blame
He
him.
actually did. He said that he wanted to go back in time, find every copy of that, and destroy them with a sledgehammer. And I'm like, I don't blame him. It was shitty.
Yeah. Did you hear they're doing a new version of a holiday special? Yeah,
no.
they're doing, like, I'm not kidding. They're doing, like, a CG version of it where Rey is going to time travel back in time, and she's going to teach Luke the ways of the Jedi. And I'm not kidding. That's literally the plot.
Oh wait, no, it's already out.
Oh God, no. Oh.
The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
Kill me.
No.
Kill me.
Like, okay, I don't mind the Lego games I hadn't seen the Lego movies or whatever. I don't give a shit about those. But no. Just who's in this fucking?
Don't worry, Mary Sue is going to teach everyone how to become a Mary Sue as well.
Okay, here it is. In the special set after Episode 9, Rey begins to doubt her abilities as a teacher to Finn.
What?
She travels to a temple and finds. I don't know why she wants. Yeah. She travels to a temple and finds a time key, which allows her to travel to different moments in time throughout the Star Wars film series, and briefly, The Mandalorian.
Fuck no! Don't go to The Mandalorian.
No. Meanwhile, she loses the keys to Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader, who plan to change time. Meanwhile, Finn, Rose, and Poe get ready for their Life Day party, where chaos ensues.
That sounds awful. They have fucking time travel now.
They got time travel now, and apparently Rey's teaching Finn how to use the Force.
Finn should have been the Force user, or the Jedi, not her.
Can we just say that Black Lives Matter for Star Wars? Because I want Finn to be the hero.
He's just a better character.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Finn would have basically been the sequel trilogy version of Kaotikast. Kaotikast was a once an Imperial stormtrooper that defected from the Empire and became a mercenary for the Rebels, and then became a Jedi.
Surprisingly enough. Go Star Wars holidays. God damn it. Why can't they leave the past alone?
Oh, let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
God damn it.
But then it just seems like they can't let the past die.
They never let the past die. They live long enough to become the villain.
You know, funnily enough, my favorite scene in Last Jedi is just when Snoke is just verbally, like, just berating Kylo because of how much of a fuck up he is.
You're a major
got your ass
pussy with that
girl.
Do you really think that mask will save
Kylo
you?
was another character in Force Awakens that I was like, honestly, he was one of my favorite characters in the movie. And then, like, as I thought, I was like, oh, he has a lot of potential. He's an interesting villain. And then they just completely ruined him.
Great villain.
It seemed like they tried to do something with him in Last Jedi, but they never went through with it. Like, I just don't know.
They never went through with it because they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna,"
he destroying his mask. I was like, "Oh, that was a pretty cool scene," but it doesn't matter because, of course, in the next movie, he's repairing the mask.
That's the one that made zero sense to me, and it looks fucking ugly.
But in the Rise of Skywalker, he's like more than half the time he doesn't even have the mask on. So it's like, what the fuck? Just
what's the point?
Like, are you either gonna wear the mask or you're not gonna wear the mask? Like, and it's like, usually the Sith, if they have masks, they pretty much always keep it on. They don't really take it off much. But fucking Kylo, he's like, I can't decide. I just wear it to look cool.
I'm the supreme leader, so I do whatever I want.
Usually, like, people who are like Sith Jedi, they'll have like deformities and stuff. That's sometimes why they'll wear masks, because the dark side of the Force can corrupt you physically.
Who was the main villain of Knights of the Old Republic? Was it Malik?
I think so. Yeah, Darth Malik.
I'm gonna see it. Hold on.
It's the bald guy, right? Like the
bald guy with the fucking mask over his lower half, which turns out it's just him. He wears it because he lost his jaw, which that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was Malik.
Yeah, it was Malik. Rami Malek is the fucking Darth Lord.
And then I think it's also Darth Revan,
who was in 2. Which honestly, Darth Revan actually looked better.
Darth Revan's another character that it's another missed opportunity for the movies or the series. They just don't really bring him into any of those.
No.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the Old Republic, can we talk about the High Republic?
The High Republic?
Yeah, you don't know about this?
Hold
You
on,
didn't hear about the High Republic?
Are they smoking weed?
It might as well be. The High Republic is basically them kind of like doing their own version of the Old Republic, and it sounds fucking terrible.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The High Republic 2 sees someone that looks like Killer Croc with one arm missing.
Yeah, it takes place like 400 years before the prequels, and it's just like it's the Jedi at their prime, or like at their highest power, I guess. But it's like that's kind of what the Old Republic was, though.
Like the art style that I see of it, it looks promising. It looks interesting.
I don't care too much for the art. I mean, the art's okay. Like some character designs are alright. Some are kind of weird.
One looks like Killer Croc with his arm cut off. Yeah,
and they're doing the crossguard hilt lightsabers, like Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that lightsaber. When I saw the lightsaber, I thought two things. One, it looks kind of cool. On the other hand, the second thing looks stupid.
Yeah, I think it looks okay. Like I don't have as much of a problem with that.
It did more of a purpose in Force Awakens, because they're like, oh, they have the little hilt. That's not going to be used in anything. And you see Kylo Ren stabbing Finn with the hilt.
Kylo Ren also does like the moonwalk in Rise of Skywalker, and he's like fucking moonwalking backwards and like stabbing people from behind. And then he's also like tackling or like fucking suplex or like tackling people, I think, in the beginning of the movie. And I'm just like, what is this dude's fighting style? What the fuck is he doing? Like, and then there's a scene near the end of the movie where he like turns back to the light side and becomes Ben Solo, and he's fighting the Knights of Ren. And then he turns his back to the Knights of Ren and like holds the lightsaber behind his back, and he just lets the Knights of Ren just hit the lightsaber blade, and then he turns around and just kills I'm just like, what the fuck was that? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing with the fucking lights?
Yeah.
I was just so confused by all of that movie. Like, that movie made no fucking sense. They fucked with the Force. That's the other thing too. They have so much fucked with the Force. Like they've made the Force like something completely different in the sequel trilogy. Like in the Rise of Skywalker, you can apparently interact with physical objects through communicating with somebody through the Force. When the fuck was that possible? Like what? Kylo Ren steals a fucking necklace by like talking to Rey through the Force. Also, Force ghosts can interact with physical objects.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. Force ghosts can actually manipulate weather. That was the thing that Rian Johnson was like saying, yeah, they can do that.
Yeah, because Force ghost Yoda can summon lightning. Summons lightning to burn. Summons lightning to burn the Jedi text, because that's something Yoda would do.
Wait, because I had forgot about Rise of Skywalker. Did they even bring up the text again?
The only thing that they do is they address the stupid Holdo maneuver, and they say it was a 1 in a million chance that the Holdo maneuver would have worked, which makes it look even worse that she did that. And they also and Luke Skywalker also shows up again and kind of pretty much shits on the Last Jedi version of Luke, and he's just and it's more true to how Luke Skywalker actually would act, because he's I think Rey tries to throw her lightsaber away at one point, and then fucking Force Ghost Luke catches the lightsaber And he's just like, that's not how the Jedi act. You know, you shouldn't do that.
Like, okay, would you say that Rise of Skywalker Luke was better or worse?
Better. That's the only decent thing about that movie. But he's still a Force ghost interacting with physical objects, which is still really stupid. So it's like dumb and also like, I guess, kind of okay at the same time. Just because they like fixed his character, but at the same time, like just him being there as a Force ghost interacting with physical objects is really fucking stupid and is just a total contradiction of everything.
The holdover, great. I'm still stuck. My mind is still fucking stuck on that. It was a 1 in a million chance of it working.
She got mad lucky, basically, is what they're saying.
But it looked pretty though.
Yeah, that's the only thing you could say about it.
Okay, I will say this about Last Jedi. Some of the fucking visuals.
Oh yeah,
were great.
I mean they have an ass load of money that they can throw at the movies. So they have a ton of budget. So yeah, the movies look great, but they're terribly written movies.
Yeah, very bad. Except for
my favorite line in Rise of Skywalker is fucking Poe when he's just like, somehow Palpatine has returned. And everybody's like, what? I'm like, I know how Poe, it's through the power of bad writing. Palpatine has returned. Anyways, I think we should probably move on to
I think we moved on to like we briefly discussed about Jedi Fallen Order and Squadrons and how we
talked about how some of the games are decent. Some games are good, some games aren't so good, and then the sequel trilogy is just pretty much total cancer. The only really good thing that came out of the Disney Star Wars movies has been Rogue One. But now I guess we can talk about how Star Wars is kind of slowly returning to greatness. I kind of addressed this somewhat with all the theories about what's going to happen in Mandalorian, but I guess we should just go ahead and bring up, of course, the Mandalorian itself. And
yeah, well, since we already talked about the two games, I took that off the topic. But yeah, let's talk about Mandalorian. How the one show that I did not expect to be good turned out to be fucking amazing.
It's just in the first episode, because it already, like, just by introducing the child, pretty much hooked everybody, because they're like, that's one thing that actually hasn't been done in any other Star Wars media, as far as I know. They have not really introduced, except for maybe that one character in the prequels called Garl. We haven't really seen any other character that's a part of Yoda's race in anything. So, like, that was a big deal when they introduced the child in the very first episode.
Yeah. That made me go, what the fuck? They can fuck?
And then, of course, when you find out that it's 50 years old, or 50-something years old, too.
Yeah, it's 50 years old. How the fuck is something that looks like a baby?
I guess Yoda's species just ages slowly, and there's also just a lot we don't really know about its species, too. So, I mean, it's definitely a good way to, like, introduce more, I guess, more lore about the Yoda species, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that, and that just immediately, like, kind of hooks you and gets your interest. The only thing, Mandalorian's been a good show. It's been, expanding on the Mandalorians themselves, as well as the Din Djarin as a character, the child, and the only complaint people have about the show is that there's a lot of episodes that are more like self-contained episodes where, like, some episodes kind of feel like video game side quests where the Mandalorian has to go and help out some people and kill a monster or do something for somebody, and then that's pretty much the whole episode. But then there are some episodes that are more like, plot focused and sort of contribute to an overarching plot in the series. And I would say, yeah, those are the more interesting episodes, but I don't really mind the more self-contained ones. I mean, the show has a really kind of it does definitely feel like it has a slower pace, which I don't really mind so much because it does feel like it is building up to something. And with, some of the revelations we've had in the more recent episode, it feels like it's kind of building up to something pretty substantial, but it's just kind of taking its time to get there.
Yeah, it's doing the one thing that the Disney movies have done poorly. It's pacing.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking its sweet-ass time with pacing, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, because the Disney movies, especially The Rise of Skywalker, pacing was fucking abysmal in that movie.
Yeah, it made zero sense in that movie.
Because the whole movie was like rushing through the whole fucking movie is rushed. But yeah, The Mandalorian is just like much slower. It's introducing things from the expanded universe and trying to kind of putting it back into canon.
And retconning the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping, because it definitely feels like it is going its own direction, and it might not necessarily connect in any significant way to the sequels. And I feel like if they try to connect The Mandalorian to the sequels in any significant way, that's going to definitely lose a lot of people with the show. They'll be like, fuck this.
Fuck this. We'd rather watch the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I just don't understand is that, well, not understand, but it's like, yeah, this is one thing I don't understand is that how is Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni not head of Lucasfilm already?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, too. Like,
or especially Dave Filoni.
Dave
especially
Filoni.
him. Filoni. Fuck it. It rhymes.
Yeah, like, apparently they were planning on eventually getting rid of Kennedy, but that wasn't going to happen for a few years, I think. But because of COVID, they've had to like fast track their decision to let go of Kennedy. So I think they said like by next year, I think she's going to officially be gone. But I could be wrong. I think I heard that somewhere. But we haven't really been seeing as much of her. And I think Disney is kind of getting the memo that she's really bad for the brand and she's what's killing it. But I think for PR reasons, they are really like having trouble, like just straight up just giving her the boot. And I think Kennedy knows that her time is, her days are numbered. And people have the theory that, or at least certain insiders have said that Kennedy is basically, as a way of retaliation, she's giving Star Wars property or like Star Wars shows to people like Leslie Headland, who was a former assistant of Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so she's gonna have like some like all-female Star Wars show or some bullshit.
No.
And the Obi-Wan show was something that was going to come out like I think months ago. It was finished. The script was finished or something, and then Kennedy took a look at it, and she had to go and rewrite all this stuff. So apparently, people are really concerned about that because. There was apparently recently a casting call for some woman of color or something to come onto the Obi-Wan series, and people are like worried because they think that it's going to be like one of these, these characters who are going to be like a female mentor character for Obi-Wan and teach him the proper ways of doing things and all that kind of shit. So, I don't know. I think it sounds like a terrible idea if that's the case. Like,
So they're getting rid of Qui-Gon Jinn.
No. The Obi-Wan series is going to take place after Episode 3. Between Episode 3 and 4. Like, basically his time as Kenobi.
But they should, like, bring back Qui-Gon Jinn just for that. They should have.
Well, he's dead, but I guess he could bring it back.
No. Remember... You remember the end of the third one? Yoda was like, I will teach you. I was like... I have a way that you could talk to your old master, and I will teach you to communicate with them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could do that. I don't know. I don't have high expectations for the Obi-Wan series just because Kennedy seems to be pretty heavily involved with that. She has not been. I don't think she's really been involved at all with the Mandalorian.
No, she's the only thing she's involved in is just having her name.
I've heard rumors that she's apparently even banned on the set. So
good. I think Jon Favreau took one look at her and they like security. We can't let her in the set.
Yeah, but I feel like until Kennedy is actually officially gone, like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like they can't really do anything substantial just yet. I feel like they're holding off until Kennedy is gone, and then they're gonna be like, okay, guys, we're gonna like actually do like either like a movie or like a Disney Plus show where like we're gonna do like the like I said earlier, like a retelling of Heir to the Empire, or we're gonna bring in like the original trilogy characters and recast them, like Sebastian Stan as Luke or something, or like, you know, something huge like that. But they can't really. I'm guessing like they can't really bring in like these major original trilogy characters because like Kennedy would probably like have an issue with it. Maybe I could be wrong, but
but Chaos, there's no material to work with. There's not hundreds of tons of the books.
No, clearly not.
Nope. I think I have rumors, but we cover the rumors like alongside
There's so
of it.
many rumors.
Yeah, like the one about the new Luke Skywalker and Mandalorian's rumors.
Okay, well, we didn't really go over this one. I did see in a YouTube video somebody was saying like one rumor is that they are considering like bringing basically kind of recanonizing, I guess, the expanded universe version of Luke, where he, you know, has a family and he's married to Mara Jade. But they might do their own version of that, but they're considering doing that, which I really feel like would sort of contradict some of the, like a lot of stuff in the like in The Last Jedi specifically.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting if they do that, because I feel like that'd be even more of a middle finger to the sequel trilogy.
Oh, it would. It would definitely.
And we already know that, like, you know, Dave Filoni and Favreau, I really get the sense they're not fans of the sequels, because in the recent Mandalorian episode, we have a line from Ahsoka Tano where she's talking about how, well, the child's real name, which is Grogu, how Grogu was trained on Coruscant, and how he was been trained by, like, multiple different masters, and the Force is something that takes a long time to, like, master. So I felt like that was kind of like a middle finger at the sequel trilogy, specifically, like, Rey.
Jesus. But I'm kind of hoping what they're going to do with Mandalorian after that shit.
Yeah. I'm really interested in what's going to happen with that show, honestly, because there's just so much potential. Same thing with the spin-off shows they're doing. Now, I don't really have so much of a problem with like some of these spin-offs, as long as, you know, they're actually good. I actually do want to see an Ahsoka, like a live-action Ahsoka spin-off show.
With Rosario Dawson,
they're planning on doing a few different ones. They're planning on doing like live-action Ahsoka show, a Cara Dune show, apparently.
They have so many ideas.
Yeah. There's also apparently there's a Boba Fett series that's in the works. They've already started filming on Mandalorian season 3, so they're getting some stuff done with Star Wars. I'm honestly more interested in these shows than I am with anything that really has Kennedy's involvement in it at this point. Like, I'm just like, anything with Filoni and Favreau in charge, sign me up.
Yes, please. Give me more shit from them, please.
If they're anything like Mandalorian, I'll definitely be excited. I especially for the Ahsoka show, since, you know, we're finally going to be getting some Jedi again, you know, actually seeing some live action Jedi on screen, and not have it be like the shitty excuse for a Jedi from what we've seen from the sequels, which really don't feel like a Jedi at all, because it plays fast and loose with the rules of the Force and being a Jedi in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What else can we say about, like, Star Wars kind of slowly coming back to greatness? Because, I mean,
I think that's just mostly it. We have Mandalorian, which is like proven to be a great addition to Star Wars,
and of course, like, you know, Clone Wars and Rebels kind of finished up, which were actually, you know, well received shows.
Well, maybe not so much the final season of Clone Wars, though.
I've heard mixed things about that. Like, some people liked it, some people didn't like it.
Hated it. Yeah, so I think that's it though, and like the whole thing about George Lucas coming back to run Lucasfilms, that's probably not going to happen.
I feel like if anything, Lucas will probably just be there. Like he'll probably give advice every now and again. He'll probably just be there as like an overseer or something, a consultant.
I would rather see him as a consultant for like future Star Wars stuff.
Same. I think Filoni and Favreau actually had, went to Lucas for advice for like Mandalorian, I think. And I think like they said Lucas was on set for like some of the Mandalorian episodes or something. Like he was behind the scenes. So,
good. They brought in the master himself.
I mean, that's probably why it feels like an actual like Star Wars thing as opposed to the sequels. Like that's the thing about the sequels too, is like they don't feel like Star Wars. They feel like a hollow shell. Like they're wearing the mask of Star Wars, but it's not really Star Wars.
Until you see Mandalorian, which is kind of like the nougat outside of a chocolate shell, which is great.
Yeah, like I would say Mandalorian has the heart and soul of Star Wars, while like the sequels are just, literally just a cash grab.
Imitation.
Yeah, imitation.
Just imitations of what Star Wars used to be.
Like it has the things you would associate with Star Wars, but everything else, like the characters, the story, it's just not there. It's not what Star Wars is.
I think I can actually just like use the recurring like end question like as a way to like wrap up a bit,
Okay.
Which is, do you think that there's going to be hope for Star Wars? I think we already answered that one.
I guess I could expand on it. I think if they keep going the direction they're going with these shows, and it does end up like culminating into something huge, like I said with Thrawn, and that could be like the big plan, but like, because that's one theory that was brought up, and I kind of agree with it. I think that would be a great idea if that's what the idea is. It making him like the big bad guy, and kind of as a way like sort of using that to kind of slowly like build up to this like huge event where Thrawn is the bad guy, and they try to do like their own version of like the Heir to the Empire trilogy. I think if they go in that direction, they could end up in a way kind of redeeming the Star Wars quite a bit. But I think, I mean, I don't know how long that's gonna take. Like, I feel like the franchise is pretty much on life support at this point. Mandalorian is pretty much the only thing that's holding it up.
It's essentially the cord to it.
But I think if they can bring out things like shows similar to Mandalorian that are just as good as it, I think that'll definitely do a lot in trying to bring the brand back to its former, maybe not ever, I don't know if I should say to its former glory, but something close to it at least. And I think with what's happening right now in the world, that's really the only option they have. Like, they don't really have the option of doing like a big budget movie or anything in the moment, so like all they really have are like shows and like video games and stuff. So I think and I really think too, like if they and I mean there are maybe some things from High Republic that could be good, but if they go through with High Republic, I think that's definitely going to be a pretty big damper on the whole thing, to be honest. I feel like that's just something they should probably abandon, to be quite honest. I think they should just kind of scrap that whole idea. But yeah, because I'm not a fan of the idea, and I don't think a lot of other people are either. I think they need to stick to what was great about Star Wars, such as, what was in the original expanded universe, and trying to expand on a lot of the lore people know about Star Wars and within the live action shows. Because it's like, think about it, like what did a lot of fans probably want from the new sequel trilogy? They probably wanted to see, the biggest question was what happened with Luke? Like what's going to be, what is Luke going to be doing in the sequel trilogy? And that was the biggest question for me. So I feel, and probably a lot of other fans too, is they want to see Luke again. And I feel like that is one thing for sure that like the new shows should try to do, is they should try to like
expand of what happened to Luke after Return of the Jedi.
Like, because that's what I think, like, you know, and I do think that, like, a lot of it, it's fan service, but as long as they can justify it, as long as they can, like, have a good reason for it to be there, and actually try to give, you know, like I said, expand on those characters, I think that it'd be, like, fine. I think Luke is the biggest one. I think once they, like, reintroduce Luke, then I think they're going to probably win a lot of fans back, if they try to do that, or try to have, like, Luke play a big role in some of these shows. That'll definitely, because like, he pretty much is the face of, essentially, like, the face of Star Wars. So it's like,
he's been the face of Star Wars.
I mean, of course, there's all these many different other characters, but, like, Luke is, at the end of the day, it's pretty much Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker just being shat on is one of the main reasons the fan base has been fractured so much. So if they were to try to repair that, I think that would do a lot in, like, bringing the fans back.
And it will stop being on life support and actually be the true series or true.
But I don't know. I think the issue is just the politics of Lucasfilm. I feel like as long as Kennedy is there, she might do everything in her power to, like, stop that. I don't know how that works, but I feel like Kennedy would try to do something if she found out that was happening.
She probably would try, but fail.
No, I feel like she has to. I feel like this is my prediction. It's just a premise. Like, it's kind of a feeling I have. I feel like once Kennedy is gone, like, we're gonna start to see some really a lot more major changes. And I think she doesn't have much longer. I could be wrong, but I feel like she doesn't have much longer until she had actually gone. But, like, once she is gone, we're going to start seeing, like, I think some of the more, like I said, the major changes for Star Wars. But I think they definitely need to clean house at Lucasfilm, get her out, get some of her loyalists out of there, and just have Filoni and Favreau in charge, and get more people that actually know about Star Wars and sci-fi to help repair the damaged brand that is Star Wars.
Yeah, and actually focus more on the extended universe, and also try to figure out what they could throw into it, like probably do Dark Forces.
Yeah.
Probably try to do a Republic Command. That would actually be kind of cool to see, is if they took Republic Commando, like 4 people who are, like, a part of the squad.
Yeah.
How they're dealing with that Genosha.
Yeah, and, like, a lot of it too is just, like, they have to think from the perspective of the fans. It's like, what do the fans really want to see? They want to see, like, these. They've wanted this stuff for years, and they've, just felt ignored because, we of course we just got the sequel trilogy and all this other stuff we don't need, like the High Republic. But like, there's not really a lot of demand for stuff like that. It's more so like maybe adaptations of these games or these books, or maybe like some of these characters coming in from either the EU or from the original trilogy. But that's pretty much what I think they need to do. Just kind of stay the course with Mandalorian, slowly introduce more stuff from the lore and the EU, and also have, try to do some interesting things with these other spin-off shows they're doing. Hopefully it will, like, connect in some huge way, such as, people thinking this is going to be like the MCU of Star Wars. I think that could work if they try to, like I said, connect them all in a meaningful way.
Yeah. Like, actually give it a purpose.
Yeah. But what do you think that they need to do to
Nah, I think that's mostly all it is. Is like, I just agree with all of that, though. Just get rid of Kennedy and bring in people that actually give a shit about Star Wars, and focus on trying to work on future projects with it too.
Yeah. Oh.
And also maybe not be involved with EA Productions.
Yeah.
Except for Jedi Fallen Order, that was okay.
Yeah. Well, with that, it was like, I think it was just like Respawn, and then EA was like the publisher.
Yeah, Respawn did an amazing job.
I mean, I'd like to see a follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order sometime.
Yeah, like make a sequel, but don't call it Fallen Order. Just keep calling it Jedi, but call it something else.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much Oh yeah, we will also be So I think I should also mention we're going to also be covering the Game Awards.
We're going to be drunk doing it.
Yep. So that's going to be a shit show.
Probably. If we do it drunk, though, that would be fucking hilarious. I was going to say like the things that we liked so far, but I think we kind of skipped on that one.
Yeah. Well.
Should we keep that or just get rid of it?
I guess we can keep it. Like, I would just say, like, since it is relevant, like I mentioned before, mostly what I've been doing is I finished up, because I've kind of been on a Star Wars kick since I've been watching these more recent episodes of Mandalorian. It's kind of rekindled my interest in, like, finishing some of these games. I started playing Dark Forces 2 a while back, but I kind of stopped at a point. So I started the game again. I just started a new game and played the game again. And it's a good game. Like it's just like I said, it's really fucking hard. Then I just started playing the standalone expansion, Mysteries of the Sith, which is also pretty fun. And then I eventually plan on playing Jedi Outcast. Because I started playing Jedi Outcast like a long time ago when I was a kid, but I never really like played the whole game. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back into that because, like I said, I remember in that game you team up with Luke Skywalker, so that's I'm really excited for that.
The best.
Yeah. So, what about you, Levy? What are you been getting into?
I forgot to mention that already because we didn't ask what we were up to, but I just say fuck that for a bit. I've been playing games on my Switch recently, especially the one game my brother gave me, which was Age of Calamity.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, and apparently I would say it's a good prequel to Breath of the Wild, but at the same time it plays like a Musou Dynasty Warriors game, but they do it a lot better than this one than they did in the original Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I'm pretty selective when it comes to the Musou games. Like some of them I might want to play, some of them I don't really care for. I kind of wanted to play the Berserk game just because it's Berserk, but it's a Musou game.
I kind of avoided that one because I heard it was very meh.
Yeah. And then of course the Fate Extella games are actually like Musou style games too.
And those were good.
Fuck, what else?
What's good?
I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of them are really was into. Like, I think it was like, what was it, Samurai Warriors? I hear that's a
Samurai Warriors, which is the same thing as Dynasty Warriors.
It's been years since I played Dynasty Warriors games.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
I remember I was genuinely kind of fucking afraid of Lu Bu, I think it was, and was it Dynasty Warriors 4? I think like he would basically like wipe the floor with fucking everybody in that game.
I don't really know. I never really played the Dynasty Warriors games.
Dynasty Warriors Legends or something like that. Like he's just a fucking like he's hard to kill in that game. Like he'll just kill your entire like team.
I hadn't been really playing the Dynasty Warriors games. I've been playing like the fucking spin-offs, like I mentioned, Dragon Quest Warriors or Dragon Quest Heroes, Fire Emblem Warriors, Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah,
which I think is just hilarious. And then there's I took a break from doing that too because I was like, whatever, I'm gonna move on. Just play another game. So I got a game that was from my childhood.
Yeah.
But it's been redone.
Which game?
It was originally it was Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, but now it's Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. So I'll just say Friends of Mineral Town.
Okay.
Like I think what they did with the Switch version, it's a lot different than the original, but it still plays just the same.
Yeah,
and that's what I liked about it. I felt like I was replaying my childhood.
Yep. Well, I think with that all being said, we can go ahead and show my plugs. Show my plugs on screen. No, I'll show Levy's plugs. And yeah.
Yep.
So with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was more like of a specific podcast, just specifically focused on Star Wars. So,
happy No Star Wars Film Month.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And yep, until next time, we will see you all later.